Have you ever spent time looking at the stars and wondering if there is more to life? Have you felt empty even when everything around you says you should be happy? This strong search for meaning is one of the most basic human experiences. It has motivated people for thousands of years to ask important questions and to check out both what is inside us and what is outside. What you are about to learn is more than just a new idea. It is a clear presentation of the truth that your inner self has been waiting for. By the end, you will see life in a way you have never seen it before. If you are prepared to find out the answers to what has been calling you, then keep watching. This might be the most important discovery you ever make. For centuries, scholars, scientists, and wise people have offered many explanations for who we are, why we exist, and what purpose guides our lives. Even though our science and technology have grown, these basic questions still leave most of us with a sense of longing that is hard to satisfy. Hidden in ancient writings is a way of thinking that claims to answer these questions. This is the way of Kabbalah, which is both mysterious and very practical. In Kabbalah, our world is not the result of random chance, but comes from a careful, directed process led by what its followers call the Creator. Imagine a time with no time at all, a state before anything existed as we know it. There was no matter, no space, no beginning or end, only one endless force, a source that goes beyond human understanding. The followers call this the Creator or the Infinite, and they say that everything we experience comes from this unlimited source. According to Kabbalah, the Creator is not a human-like figure on a throne, and not a being in the way we usually understand living things. Instead, the Creator is a force, a limitless power that gives and provides without expecting anything in return. This power is sometimes called the will to bestow, because its only aim is to give without any limitations of time, space, or form. The Creator's single desire is to share goodness and pour out endless abundance. Now, if the Creator is all about giving, a natural question comes up. Who or what is there to receive all this goodness? In Kabbalah, there is an important answer. The Creator decided to give so completely that a counterpart was created, a container that can take in all that endless goodness. This is where the tale of creation begins, and it is not about stars, planets, or atoms. It is about a single act, a one-time creation produced by the Creator's wish to give. This container is known by Kabbalah students as the will to receive. Although it may sound like an abstract idea, it lies at the heart of everything we experience and all that we are. This will to receive was not made only to accept the Creator's limitless abundance. It was also given its own desire to take everything in. It was designed as a holder that can contain all the goodness the Creator offered. Picture this container existing in a perfect condition, completely filled with the Creator's light and experiencing the fullest sense of pleasure, bliss, and unity. There is no lack, no emptiness, and no separation, only complete oneness with the Creator. In that state, the container knew only satisfaction. It was complete and passive, almost like a child being held by its parent, receiving everything without question, without effort, and without noticing anything beyond that complete unity. However, an unexpected event occurs. According to Kabbalah, something different began inside this will to receive. The container started to become aware, not just of the pleasure it was getting, but also of the nature of the one giving. This awareness led to an important question that ultimately set all of existence in motion. What is the reason for my being? Why do I simply receive all this abundance without any effort? Could I in some way be like the Creator who gives rather than just takes? As a result, a strong desire was born. The container wanted to be more than merely a passive receiver. It wanted to share on the same level as the Creator, to participate in the act of giving instead of only receiving. This desire for something more, for independence and for meaning, beyond simply being filled up, laid the groundwork for everything that followed. In answer to this desire, the Creator recognized that for the container to feel truly fulfilled, it must go through a process where it changes from being only a receiver into something that participates in giving as well. Therefore, the container was broken apart into countless pieces. Although every piece kept that original will to receive, each fragment would now follow its own path, driven by a hidden longing to reconnect with the Creator and return to the perfect state from which it came. This division, the breaking apart, is what Kabbalah followers describe as the start of all creation, the beginning of every life, every piece of awareness, and every form of desire. It was a purposeful splitting, designed so that each part of the container, every human soul, could eventually come to understand the nature of the Creator and share in the same capacity for giving. In Kabbalah, creation is not seen merely as a physical universe coming from nothing. It is instead the unfolding of a large spiritual process. It is the descent from the original state of unity with the Creator into our current world, where each part, each individual soul, feels separated, struggles, longs and searches for meaning. Our world, with all its pleasure and pain, challenges and mysteries, is a carefully set stage where these separated souls can learn how to move from simply receiving to developing a new desire, the will to bestow. Why is this important? Because only through this process, by rising above the simple act of receiving, can each soul truly understand and appreciate the nature of the Creator. Every one of us is given a unique path, a set of challenges and chances, and by working on changing our own will to receive into a will that gives freely, we begin to reconnect with that original state of complete oneness, the perfect condition we all quietly wish for. To understand our experience, we need to consider what Kabbalah describes as the 4 levels of existence. This idea shows how life unfolds from its most basic forms to the full awareness of a human being, with each level containing elements that lead to the next, all moving toward a connection with the Creator. These levels, called Domim, Somik, Chai, and Meda in Kabbalah texts, form a structure that goes from non-living matter to plants, to animals, and finally to humans. Each level expands on the previous one by adding more complexity, individuality, and purpose. These are not simply physical stages. They also represent steps in our spiritual development and the waking of our desires. Let's start with Domim, the non-living level. Imagine a vast quiet desert or a still mountain range. This level includes objects that do not move and have no personal desire: stones, minerals, planets, and stars. They remain in a state of quiet stability, showing almost no change. There is no drive for growth or expansion. In Kabbalah, the non-living represents the most basic wish, to simply exist and be maintained as is. It does have a connection to the Creator's light, but that connection is barely noticeable. Non-living things are stable and at peace, but they also have a very limited way of showing life. Next is the second level, Somik, which represents plants. At this stage, we see the first signs of growth, change, and development. Plants rise from the earth, reaching for the sun and taking in nourishment. Unlike stones, plants have an inner drive to grow and live. They are more than just raw matter. They show life through movement and an internal aim to expand. At this level, there is a desire for more than basic existence. Plants have an urge to collect light, to change, and to produce fruit. However, their growth is still ruled by nature's laws. It is automatic, and the plant follows a preset course. Then comes Chai, the animal level, where a new type of life appears. Animals move freely. They hunt, defend themselves, and take care of their young. In this stage, there is a clear awareness of both pleasure and pain, comfort and danger. Animals not only grow, they interact with their surroundings. They follow their own needs, experience emotions, and make choices based mostly on survival. The wish to receive is quite strong here and is connected to a need to protect oneself, not just to continue living, but to live with a certain awareness. Unlike plants, animals have unique personalities, behaviors, and form bonds. In Kabbalah, the animal level shows a higher level of desire, a kind of awareness that can act and react. But it is still largely driven by instinct rather than thoughtful, spiritual aspiration. Finally, we reach Meta, which refers to human beings. This is not simply the next step in evolution. It is a change in the very nature of desire. Humans carry all the qualities seen in the earlier levels: the steadiness of the non-living, the growth of plants, and the instinct of animals. But on top of that, they possess self-awareness, a longing for meaning, and a desire to understand their place in life. At this level, the question of why we exist comes into focus. Humans are not satisfied with mere instinct. We ask questions. We want to create, change, and go beyond what is given. In Kabbalah, the human stage is considered the most significant because it reflects the Creator's own urge to give. The human spirit can question, can aspire, and can experience a full range of life that goes past everyday existence. Our minds can consider endless ideas, our hearts can share genuine care for others, and our spirits can look for a connection with the Creator. In this stage, our desire becomes more complicated and sometimes even conflicting. Humans experience life with a strong mix of both pleasure and pain, joy and suffering, because we are aware of our own existence in a way that the earlier stages are not. This level is where free will comes into play. We have the choice to act, to respond, and this level is where free will comes into play. We have the choice to act, to respond, and eventually to determine the direction of our lives and our spiritual growth. Each level, from non-living matter to plants, from animals to humans, represents a step in the evolution of desire. By expanding and refining our wishes, we move closer to the light of the Creator. The non-living is content just to exist. Plants search for growth. Animals seek movement, pleasure, and safety. But humans look for something more than themselves. We ask questions, we wonder about the stars, and we consider why we are here. We are driven by the need to rise above our basic needs and to connect with something greater. Kabbalah teaches that the ultimate goal of human life is to come back into union with the Creator. Our progress through these stages is not random. It is set in motion by the Creator's plan to share limitless joy and purpose with us. Every level acts as a step on a ladder that takes us higher and closer to the source of all life. At the human level, we have the ability to participate actively in our spiritual progress, learning to balance our own desires with the act of giving to others. In this sense, being human is a special chance. We are not here merely to exist or to grow. We are here to change by developing qualities that match the giving nature of the Creator. Looking at the 4 levels of existence helps us see life as a vast process of spiritual evolution. The desires that animate a stone, a tree, an animal, and a person all come from the same origin. Yet each stage is a unique expression of that original will to give. It is as if the Creator put a spark of purpose into each level, slowly making life visible in us, in humanity, so that full awareness can eventually emerge. Kabbalah teaches that deep down, every soul has one main purpose: to rejoin with the Creator. This reunion is not an everyday occurrence. It is a conscious, deliberate return to our true nature, reached through consistent spiritual work and internal change. How do we practically approach this reconnection? What is meant by spiritual work? And why is it so important for finding fulfillment? In this section, we will look at three main points: awakening the spark in the heart, changing our desires, and the value of working together with others on our spiritual efforts. In Kabbalah, the term for that first spark of longing for something greater is the spark in the heart. It is the feeling that there is more to life than what we can see. You might notice it as a quiet but persistent question: is there more to life than this? Many people first experience it as a slight sense of dissatisfaction, even when everything in their lives seems to be in order. Material success, healthy relationships, and good fortune may be present, yet something still feels incomplete. This spark is like a small fire planted inside each person. It represents a wish for true purpose, for spiritual growth, and for reconnection with the Creator. According to Kabbalah, everyone has this spark, though it may remain unnoticed until certain life events stir it up. Often, it is awakened by experiences that challenge our usual comfort or certainty. Once this spark in the heart is lit, it pushes us toward spiritual work by urging us to ask questions, to seek new understanding, and to rise above ordinary desires. This desire becomes the starting point for our path, encouraging us to learn, grow, and gain understanding. Spiritual work does not mean leaving the world behind. It means opening our view to see things from a higher perspective and learning to turn everyday experiences into steps toward unity with the Creator. The next step in our spiritual work involves a challenging process: changing our desires. Desire is central to the teachings of Kabbalah. It is the force that makes everything happen, from non-living things to human actions. In its raw state, human desire is focused on personal comfort, pleasure, recognition, and security. These are normal needs, but on the path to spiritual growth, Kabbalah teaches that we must raise these desires to a higher standard. This process means moving from a self-centered focus on receiving to a focus that values giving, connection, and unity with others. This is not an easy task. Our natural instincts push us to think only of ourselves and our own gains. However, Kabbalah instructs us to notice these self-serving desires and gradually change them into actions that express care and compassion. Followers of Kabbalah often describe this work as learning to see the world from a place of togetherness, seeing others not as separate individuals but as parts of your own self. When you help someone, you are also benefiting yourself. When you bring happiness to someone else, you feel happier too. This work requires constant personal effort, an ongoing awareness of our inner motives, and a commitment to act in ways that draw us closer to the giving character of the Creator. By changing our desires in this way, our experiences of relationships, purpose, and satisfaction start to improve, regardless of what is happening around us. Little by little, as we replace our self-focused wishes with those that benefit everyone, we come nearer to reflecting the nature of the Creator in our actions. The third and final point is one of the most important parts of Kabbalah: the role of working with others in our spiritual efforts. Kabbalah teaches that growing spiritually is not a solo task. It is something we do together. We are all part of a single interconnected system. Like individual cells in a body, each person plays a part in the overall well-being, and each of us is influenced by the group. In Kabbalah, this interconnectedness is not just a figure of speech. It is a core belief. Our souls are linked, sharing one common fate. When we view spiritual work as a shared effort, we recognize that our personal growth depends on our interactions with others. Every meeting and every relationship serves as a mirror, showing us the parts of ourselves that need care, change, and understanding. Every encounter is a chance for growth through relationships. Through our connections with family, friends, or even strangers, we learn patience, empathy, and forgiveness, and we come to understand unity. Kabbalah often states that the Creator can be known best by experiencing love through other people. This means that our work on our spirit is not about isolating ourselves from the world. It is about getting involved in a fresh and meaningful way. By working with others, studying, reflecting, and supporting one another, we create an atmosphere that speeds up our progress. An excellent example of this is the idea of Minnan, where 10 people come together to study Kabbalah. Such a group is not merely about shared study, it becomes a spiritual unit. Every person's contributions add to the others, resulting in a combined effort that helps each member reach higher levels than they could on their own. They come together as one, resonating with the Creator's light and going beyond the limits of individual ego. And it is not only study groups. Every connection we make can become a part of our work on our spirit. Every meeting, whether with family, friends, or strangers, is a chance to practice kindness, patience, and understanding. As we broaden our circle of connections, we help mend the collective spirit of humanity. In Kabbalah, the highest goal is to bring the whole world into harmony with the Creator's light, a state in which all souls live together in love and with a shared sense of purpose. In these three parts, the spark in the heart, changing our desires, and working together with others, we get a clear plan for reuniting with the Creator. Spiritual work is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong process of refining our wishes, widening our perspective, and connecting sincerely with other people. Every small step we make draws us closer to our true nature and to the Creator. One of the most important topics in Kabbalah is how we see reality. According to Kabbalah, what we experience is not an objective world, but a reflection of our inner state. This idea changes everything we believe we know about life, our world, and ourselves. To understand what reality truly is, Kabbalah asks us to look beyond our familiar ideas and common ways of seeing things. What we think of as reality is different from what our senses show us. Our world is full of limitations, filters, and assumptions, factors that shape and sometimes even distort our understanding. If we want to see what reality is in its true form, we must let go of these constraints and open ourselves up to what lies beyond our everyday experience. Kabbalah teaches that the world we take for granted is actually built by the self, based on a sense of separation and individuality. We are made to believe that we are separate beings with independent existences, defined by personal wants, fears, and goals. However, this view of reality, as convincing as it may seem, is only a small fraction of what is real. In truth, we are all connected, parts of one huge unified existence. To see this unity, Kabbalah advises us to focus more on what is within, instead of just on what is outside. Imagine an iceberg floating in the ocean. The small part you see above the water is like what we normally notice in life, the tangible things and everyday events. The massive part hidden beneath the surface contains the forces, intentions, and energies that truly hold everything together. When you direct your attention to the base rather than just the tip, you begin to sense the underlying truth that ties all things together. One of the most powerful ideas in Kabbalah is the concept of Ein Sof, or the infinite. This term describes the Creator's unlimited and all-encompassing light, a spiritual essence that flows through everything. In our normal state, we are often too busy with everyday details to sense this endless presence. We can get caught up in the distractions and immediate concerns of life. Yet when you learn to notice this unlimited light, you become aware of a constant essence present in all things, even in the ordinary parts of life. When we learn to see what reality truly is, we start understanding life's challenges, joys, and even its pains in a new way. Instead of viewing ourselves as helpless bystanders to random events, we come to see that every experience has a purpose, every encounter is arranged, and every moment is an opportunity for growth and connection. Kabbalah teaches that what is real is ultimately kind and harmonious, designed to raise our spirits and guide us back to unity with the Creator. By looking past the ideas of separation and fear, we begin to notice the higher wisdom that directs each step of our progress. This way of seeing reality does not happen immediately. It unfolds slowly as we change our inner world. The more we develop qualities like love and understanding, the more the curtain of illusion lifts to show us a world that is far more beautiful, connected, and meaningful than we ever imagined. In this sense, looking at reality differently is not about escaping from life. It is about getting fully involved in it, seeing clearly, purposefully, and with warmth. What does it mean to truly understand reality? It means having the courage to let go of the limits we have set on our thinking. It means accepting a view that sees the endless within the limited and the whole within the individual parts. Ultimately, it is a way of seeing with the awareness of the Creator and experiencing life as a constant flowing expression of divine love and unity. Kabbalah is often called the science of the soul, and for good reason. Unlike many spiritual paths that depend solely on belief or faith, Kabbalah treats spirituality with the rigor of a scientific method. It examines the universe, the soul, and the Creator through careful study and personal practice, leading to a closer understanding of life's mysteries. Kabbalah is regarded not just as a set of ideas, but as a practical science, a method that allows anyone to experience spiritual truths personally. To understand why Kabbalah is seen as a scientific discipline, we need to realize that, according to its teachings, the universe runs according to specific laws and principles. Just as physical laws like gravity govern the material world, there are spiritual laws that control how energy, awareness, and divine intention move in what is often called the spiritual side of things. These laws are consistent, measurable, and predictable. They guide every part of creation, from the smallest detail of our personal lives to the vast expanses of the cosmos. One key teaching in Kabbalah is that the universe is made to show us the nature of the Creator. In this sense, studying Kabbalah is similar to doing scientific research. Each new understanding and experience takes us a step closer to a final truth. Kabbalah students work on reaching higher states of awareness through practices such as meditation, study, and ethical change. They learn to use a kind of spiritual approach that lets them directly experience higher levels of understanding. This personal change is what makes Kabbalah a truly practical path. It is not about accepting ideas without question, but about testing and confirming spiritual truths on your own. Kabbalah also places great importance on learning through personal experience rather than through strict doctrine. Ancient texts like the Zohar and the Tree of Life offer detailed descriptions of spiritual states, the structure of the soul, and how divine energy works. These writings are practical guides meant for real-life application. When students work with these texts, they do more than just read about them. They actively take part in practices meant to bring them closer to a direct experience of the Creator's presence and purpose. This is where Kabbalah moves from being just philosophy or religious thought into an experiential science. In the study of Kabbalah, the final aim is to change the self fundamentally. Every level of study, every practice, and every technique is designed to bring a person more in tune with the Creator's will, moving from a focus on the self to a state of oneness and giving. Kabbalah teaches that as we climb this organized ladder of growth, we not only gain knowledge, but also change the very nature of who we are. This process is carried out step by step in a way that can be tested and confirmed by others, thus creating a legacy of wisdom passed along through generations. Following the path of Kabbalah means acting as both a learner and a researcher of your own inner life. It requires discipline, a strong sense of curiosity, and a readiness to ask questions and examine what you find. For centuries, this sacred science has been kept close, but today, its teachings are available to anyone eager to understand life at a deeper level. It invites every one of us to take on the role of a spiritual researcher, investigating not only the world around us, but also the questions within. Each new understanding takes us closer to unity, purpose, and clarity. Let us remember the main teaching of Kabbalah, that each of us carries a spark of the Creator inside, waiting to be lit. We are not separate from the divine, we are expressions of it. When we connect with this inner spark, we begin to experience life from a higher perspective. This is the purpose of Kabbalah, to awaken that spark, to bring our inner world into agreement with a greater whole, and to live with clear purpose, care, and determination. If these ideas have stirred your curiosity, take it as a sign to learn even more. Kabbalah offers endless wisdom, and with every step, the way ahead becomes clearer. Keep in mind that the world we see on the outside reflects the world within us, and as we work on ourselves, we also make a difference in the world. Thank you for joining in this discussion and for opening your mind and heart to new possibilities. May you take what you have learned here forward. Continue to ask thoughtful questions and keep growing, because the path of Kabbalah ultimately leads to discovering your true self, and in that discovery, you will find great peace, love, and a clear sense of purpose.